We've got this huge story, folks. Everyday Americans risking their own lives to save their neighbors, stranded in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. We're going to talk to some extraordinary heroes who are pitching in by the day. You'll meet them coming up next here, Sandra.
Meanwhile, Israel extending evacuation orders in Lebanon. This as the scope of its ground operation appears to be widening.
Also, this Venezuelan gang tightening its grip on Chicago. What is happening there? Fox News talked to people who say the threat of violence grows in that city by the day.
It only takes a few good men, in this case, a few bad men, and they can take over.
That's a moment of joy amid the horror of Helene. That's an 11-day-old premature baby in urgent need of oxygen, saved by a team of volunteers who came from all around. One of the lives they have saved from Hurricane Helene's wrath, and they're now here to share the story about that and what else they're seeing on the ground. Say hello to Mark Roseman, screen left. He's a pilot, helicopter. John Howard's there. Charlie Keebaugh and Zeb Hadley. And gentlemen, good morning to all of you. Some of you from North Carolina, some from Florida. Kudos to all of you for what you're trying to get done down there. Zeb, you were the one who saved an 11-year-old baby and an 87-year-old mother. What happened there?
Well, it was really all of us. So our first big rescue mission, there's been several, it started with that baby. It was a call that we got, or a distress message rather, from Save Our Allies. And so we took that call between Charlie and John, their teams. You guys kind of want to speak on what the next steps were?
Yeah, I reached out to my state guard team that was on the ground, didn't know their exact location. And then my paramedic, Paul, he was actually a few minutes away from there, and he was able to rush over there and stabilize that baby to get ready for a life flight, while the rest of the team, Mark and HLZ, sent us the imagery. That way Mark could put the helicopter down. Charlie was doing all the coordinating, and then we grabbed that baby. The mom and the grandma threw it on the helicopter as fast as we could. Mark flew us right to the Asheville airport, did his first rooftop landing in a very strong crosswind. Wow. And doctors and nurses were right there on standby and saved that baby's life. And then I actually just got confirmation today, and Charlie's been in contact with the mom, but they were sending us photos and videos of the pictures and videos of the baby, and it's good, it's healthy, and you know, it's been wondering on our minds, but yeah, baby's healthy.
John, it's an awesome story. And John, let me just stick with you for a moment. I was looking at all your social media posts. You said you're looking for reflections on the ground as you're flying in helicopters. You're trying to spot people with SOS written on the ground. This is remarkable stuff. And you're ticked off because you don't see the support down there on behalf of the government. Tell me what you've experienced. What's your story?
We're looking for like SOS carved in mud. That's how we found the 87-year-old woman that was about to run out of oxygen. But there's just a complete failure of weak leadership here in North Carolina in the federal government. And it takes my strong leadership in Florida to send us up here. If it wasn't for DeSantis sending the state guard special missions unit up here, this never even would have happened. But there's just no support here. There's no leadership. When we meet these locals on the ground, they're asking like, oh, you're from the state guard? And I'm like, oh, I'm from Florida. And they're like, where's North Carolina? You know, they're asking where their leadership is. They have no understanding of what's going on. And then we've even had officials here try to kick us out of Lake Lure, at a Chipping Rock, nonsense stuff. They're asking me for my authorizations to be here. I mean, like, it's the most insane thing you would ever see. It's like they want these people to die.
Well, listen, I mean, there has to be some order. I get that. I understand that. But I just want to applaud you guys for what you're doing. I know there are a lot more people like you up there. Charlie, you run this operation called Aerial Recovery. That's kind of what brought you guys together. What is Aerial Recovery?
So Aerial Recovery is a Nashville-based nonprofit. We mainly focus on anti-human trafficking. We also respond to disasters because a lot of people don't realize when there's a natural disaster or a man-made disaster, human traffickers show up. You know, you've got people missing, thousands of people from this area missing. What's 5 more? That's the attitude of the traffickers. So they will come up, they'll come to shelters, they'll come to your homes. So that's one thing we look out for while we're here. But we've also got several trained disaster response technicians on our team.
Okay, well done. Mark, so you're flying the helicopter. What do you see down there?
Seeing devastation like you've never seen. People trapped. Roads are just demolished. There's no way in and out. Their only lifeline to us, there's no communication. The only lifeline is us coming in there, either flying the sick out or either us taking in supplies. So it's just a lot. I've never seen devastation like this. And I've
I
been
am
through all
sure.
of it.
I'm sure. Zeb, how do we dig ourselves out of this? And
It's going to be a long recovery.
Is it going to get worse before we really turn the corner?
I think so we're seeing a shift. So we came out here, we were on our own recon mission looking to save lives. And so that phase is primarily over unless there's more mudslides. Now we're really checking on people, making sure people that are cut off from the world have the supplies that they need and making sure that they get what they need. And right now, the biggest thing that we see that is a need is Starlinks. We need Starlinks out of the box that can run so these people in remote valleys can communicate with their neighbors. There's pregnant women, there's sick men. There's people that just need to be in communication because some of these people don't want to leave. They're very practical people here, rightfully so. And we need to be good stewards of this country and make sure they get what they need so they can live the way they want to live.
You know, Zeb, with our reporters down there, we've listened to them all week. A lot of them tell us the folks there, they feel like, America's forgotten about them. And certainly we don't want that to be the case. You mentioned Starlink. I know Elon Musk shipped at least, 150 units in earlier in the week. And if you're saying they need more,
we need 500.
I tell you, I've worked with Starlink. It is a remarkable product. And if you're saying 500 is needed, why would that be? Is that because of the mountains?
We're not even talking about putting them in the hands of individuals. I wish we had a map of it, but there are hundreds of EMS stations, EMT stations, and fire departments that are still standing and they're running on generators and they don't have any access to the outside world. And so if we can provide each of these little communities a Starlink, they can talk to each other. And that's really what's needed now. And I think that's the road forward. And outside of that, it's really just the cleanup and the search for, unfortunately, what is probably the remains of human beings that didn't make it through this tragic event.
Charlie?
And they're going to have fuel.
Yeah.
These generators are not going to last, forever. So we just spent 20 years in Afghanistan fighting a war in mountainous terrain, very similar to where we're at right now. So our government and military has a lot of experience sling loading supplies, moving people, moving resources. Yet we've seen no sling load operations happening here.
Well, Charlie, listen, I apologize for jumping in. I got to get this question in because we're out of time. Charlie, for people watching this, how can we help?
We've got a fundraiser set up. It's on our Instagram, Aerial Recovery Group. It's in the bio section. All funds go to our disaster recovery efforts.
Okay. I'm seeing 1,000 soldiers out of North Carolina to be deployed. It took a week. Don't know why it took that long. But gentlemen, thanks for being there. We'll stay in touch with you. Zeb and John and Charlie and Mark. You guys are friends for life now. Thanks for being there.
Thank you.
You got it, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good luck.